The average American will spend nearly $1.4 million on cars in their lifetime. Not on a house, not on retirement, on cars, and most of them will retire with less than $200,000 saved. If that doesn't make you physically uncomfortable, just wait. By the end of this video, you'll never look at your driveway the same way again. Today I'm exposing exactly how the car industry quietly robs you blind. And the math is so disgusting, you're going to be mad at me for showing you. The sticker price lie. Let's start with the biggest scam in personal finance, the sticker price. When you walk onto a car lot and see $42,000, that is not what the car costs. That's what the car costs before reality happens. Here's what they don't tell you. A $42,000 car will cost you closer to $75,000 over 5 years. Not because of some hidden fee, because of 5 things every car owner pays, but nobody adds up. Financing interest, insurance, fuel, maintenance, and depreciation. The dealer never mentions these. The salesman doesn't bring them up. The commercial certainly doesn't show them. The car industry has trained an entire country to think about cars in monthly payments, not total cost. Only $599 a month. Sounds reasonable. $35,940 over the life of the loan sounds insane. Same number, different framing, different decision. And it gets so much worse once you understand what happens the second you drive off the lot. Depreciation, the silent money killer. The moment you drive a new car off the dealership, it loses roughly 10% of its value. By the end of year 1, it's lost 20%. By year 5, it's lost 60%. Let's make this concrete. You buy a $40,000 car. The second the tires hit the road, it's worth $36,000. You just lost $4,000, more than most people's emergency fund, in the time it took to adjust the mirrors. After 5 years, your $40,000 car is worth $16,000. You've lost $24,000 just by owning it. This is the part that breaks people's brains. Depreciation is invisible. It doesn't show up on a bill. There's no monthly statement that says, you lost $400 in value this month. But it's the single biggest cost of car ownership, and it's bigger than your insurance, your gas, and your maintenance combined. Smart guy thinks he's making a great decision because he negotiated $2,000 off the sticker. Kevin's driving a 2009 Corolla that depreciates by about $11 a year because there's nothing left to lose. And depreciation is just one of the 5 costs. Wait until you hear what insurance is doing. The insurance gut punch. Car insurance in 2026 has gotten brutal. The national average is now around $2,300 a year for full coverage. In some states, it's pushing $3,500. Over a 40-year driving life, that's roughly $92,000 to $140,000 just for the privilege of having a car you might crash. Here's what makes insurance worse. It scales with your car. The newer and more expensive your vehicle, the more you pay to insure it. So Smart Guy's $60,000 SUV costs him $3,200 a year to insure. Kevin's $8,000 used Corolla costs $1,100. Same coverage, same driver, same roads. Multiply that $2,100 difference over 40 years. That's $84,000. Just in insurance savings from driving a cheaper car. That's a down payment on a house. That's 2 years of retirement income. That's a fully funded Roth IRA for a decade. But Smart Guy doesn't think about that. Smart Guy thinks about how the leather seats smell. Now let's talk about the cost most people drastically underestimate. Fuel, maintenance, and the hidden $100,000. Here's a number that'll make you wince. The average American drives about 13,500 miles a year. At today's gas prices and average fuel economy, that's roughly $2,500 a year in fuel. Over 40 years of driving, $100,000. Just to move yourself around. Then there's maintenance, oil changes, tires, brakes, batteries, repairs. That random sensor that costs $800 because the dealer says it has to be replaced. Average maintenance costs run $1,200 to $2,000 a year, depending on your car. Over a lifetime, that's another $60,000 to $80,000. So just on fuel and maintenance, not even counting the car itself, The average driver is spending $160,000 to $180,000 over their lifetime. And again, this is in addition to depreciation, insurance, and financing. We haven't even gotten to the worst part yet. Because the real killer, the one that destroys retirements, isn't any of these costs. It's what your car money could have been. Opportunity cost, the number that will haunt you. This is where it gets ugly. Every dollar you spend on a car is a dollar you didn't invest. And invested money grows. A lot. Let's do the math. The average American spends roughly $9,500 a year on car ownership when you add everything up: payments, insurance, fuel, maintenance, depreciation. Now imagine if instead of buying a new $40,000 car every 7 years from age 25 to 65, you drove reliable used cars and invested the difference. Let's say you saved just $5,000 a year by going Kevin mode. $5,000 a year invested at 8% returns from age 25 to 65 becomes $1.4 million. That's not a typo. $1.4 million sitting in your retirement account instead of leaking out of your driveway one new lease at a time. That's the difference between retiring comfortably and working until you're 75. Between leaving your kids something and leaving them nothing. That's the true cost of new cars. Not the sticker price, the retirement you don't get to have. So what should you actually be driving? That's where this gets practical. The 20/4/10 rule nobody follows. There's a rule personal finance experts have preached for decades, and almost nobody follows it. The 20/4/10 rule. 20% minimum down, 4 years maximum loan term, 10% maximum of your gross monthly income spent on total transportation costs. That last one is the killer. If you make $60,000 a year, your total car spending, payment, insurance, gas, maintenance, should be under $500 a month. Most Americans making $60,000 are spending closer to $900. That extra $400 a month is the entire reason most middle-class families can't retire. Smart guy looks at the 20/4/10 rule and says, "But my car is essential for work." Kevin looks at it and just buys a $9,000 used Honda that gets 38 miles per gallon. Smart guy is technically correct. Kevin is rich, and here's the strategy that builds actual millionaires. The drive it till it dies strategy. There's a quiet group of people in America who follow one rule: buy a 3 to 5-year-old car with cash and drive it until the wheels fall off. Why does this work? Because the previous owner already ate the depreciation hit. That $40,000 car is now $20,000. Same car, same features. Half the price. You skipped the worst financial moment of car ownership. Then you don't trade it in every 5 years. You drive it for 10, 12, 15 years. You keep up the oil changes. You replace parts as they fail. A well-maintained Honda, Toyota, or Mazda will easily hit 250,000 miles. Some hit 400,000. Over a 40-year driving life, someone who buys 3 used cars at $20,000 each spends $60,000 on vehicles. Someone who leases a new $40,000 car every 4 years spends $400,000. Same transportation. $340,000 difference. That alone is enough money to retire early. Kevin figured this out by accident. Smart guy refuses to believe it. And here's the final reframe that changes everything. The mindset shift. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. A car is not a status symbol. A car is a depreciating tool that moves you from one place to another. That's it. That's the whole job. The leather seats don't get you to work faster. The 12-inch touchscreen doesn't make you happier. The badge on the hood doesn't impress anyone except other people stuck in the same trap. The wealthiest people in America, the actual quiet millionaires next door, drive boring cars. Toyotas, Hondas, used Lexus models from 2018. They're not flexing, they're winning, because every dollar they didn't spend on a car is now compounding in an index fund. Your car is the single biggest preventable wealth killer in your life. Fix that, and almost everything else gets easier. So next time you walk onto a car lot and see that beautiful $50,000 SUV, remember, you're not looking at a car. You're looking at $1.4 million of retirement walking out the door. If this video made you question every car decision you've ever made, hit subscribe. Next week, I'm exposing the 5 money habits that quietly separate the rich from the rest. See you then.